something that is undoubtedly very closely related to enjoyment and overall fun factor of a story for me is comedy, but it's also a rather tough nut to crack because I believe that for me to write or create jokes, I would need that confidence that they will end up being funny. I don't think that it's going to be a problem in terms of quips, banter in a joking manner because I do believe that I should be able to at least raise a corner, maybe even exhale from the nose. That obviously only in the extremely rare cases, but to create an entire story that has these comedic elements as a not exactly main focal point, but one of the primary focuses, example of that would be Terry Pratchett, is just far above my ability to be funny as a writer, considering the fact that I am the only intended audience for my stories. It's a pretty low bar, but nonetheless, I do not have much faith in myself to properly interweave actual real storytelling with genuinely, by all accounts, amusing elements when I already have no idea what I'm doing with writing by itself. I'm more than happy to leave that to those more qualified and maybe sneak in one or two jokes here and there into my own writing, and as long as I do find them at least mildly chuckle worthy, then they would have earned their stay. Otherwise, I'm just going to focus on creating a story that will completely lack any of the elements that cause me to quickly abandon anything that I am currently interacting with, be it watching it, playing it, or reading it. And that will already require from me more than I can probably offer. So things like putting these ideas into words definitely help and hopefully will continue to sharpen the existing bits and pieces of stories that I have scattered around my brain into something cohesive, something worth putting down on, well, not a paper, but into a writing software and see where that goes. Anyway, the Rapid Arrows, now 5 men plus a dog, again, are ready to embark on another journey, and it is another winter adventure. According to Redcap, the canal is already frozen and some boys are going to play hockey there. Mirek argues that the ice must be barely formed, so while going there to check on the situation, they are reminiscing of one of the previous adventures they had experienced when they were trying to and were successful at saving one boy who was also too impatient to wait for winter to do its job. But then again, this time it's a lot more people taking the risk, and any attempts at saving them in a similar manner would be way more complicated and also dangerous to whoever would try to perform such heroic deeds. So when they arrive, Mirek at least tries to dissuade the boys, already putting on their gear and getting ready to play. But despite the harshness of his warnings, the boys are just way too eager, even showing off how great the ice is. Well, our heroes throw after them at least a few last desperate warnings, but as it is already clear that the players are not going to listen, at least not to the rapid arrows, they decide to go and call an officer because this truly is gambling with people's lives. Well, one of the boys playing hockey at least tries to control the situation slightly, preventing them from gathering in one spot. But despite that, the rapid arrows aren't even able to get far away before they hear screams for help. So when they rush over, they see some of the players leaving the canal while three of them are slowly sinking as the ice is giving away underneath their weight. So, at the risk of their own personal safety, Yarka and Mirek climb down the ladder, and while Yarka is holding onto it with one hand and keeping Mirek from falling down with the other, Mirek leans far over the ice and manages to reach one of the boys, pulling him out. And then we see a professor in class reading a rather solemn report that four of these overzealous youngsters managed to escape the canal by themselves. A fifth one was saved by Mirek and Yarka, but unfortunately, two of them paid the ultimate price for their imprudence. And we are staying on the ice for the foreseeable future. We see the Rapid Arrows overhearing a discussion of two women watching an ambulance taking away someone who hurt themselves on a slippery ice, then reading the new issue of the magazine Forward. Apparently, it is calling out all the clubs to join the effort to make sure that the sidewalks are safe, to sand them as a part of their club's activities. And it wouldn't be the Rapid Arrows if they refuse to join such effort, buckets ready to dig out some sand while it's beginning to slightly rain, which will definitely create some more frozen slides. Carrying them back completely full with sand is all nice and well, but it's already freezing, and Speedy is the one to experience just how much slippery it can get on his own skin, going into a skid, one hand still full of the sandy bucket. Unfortunately, the only thing that particular load gets to sprinkle is Speedy himself, who gives himself a grainy shower, first one in his life, at least according to him, before they can even start their efforts. There are already accidents everywhere, cars crashing into each other, people slipping on the sidewalks. So when they finally get to sand some pesky ice, they instantly receive praise from their passers-by, well, at least from some of them, because the Brotherhood is passing by and Longpole mocks them that of course the Rapid Arrows will immediately spring into action the moment their overlords at Forward whistle at them with some new idea, even if it meant breaking their own backs. Unfortunately for the leader of the Brotherhood, Karma is in top shape today, and thus he barely manages to finish the sentence before a yet sanded part of the sidewalk claims another backside, with Speedy swiftly remarking that at least some breaking is definitely happening, leaving poor Longpole fuming with rage. And the winter is finally in full swing, and the Rapideros are planning a 5 days long adventure, giving a not so subtle warning to Speedy that if he comes late this time, they are leaving without him. He reassures everyone that he is going to be there on time, and then he'll even arrive in a luxurious ride. Well, it's the next day, and 5 minutes before the departure of the train, Mirek is already counting the seconds before Speedy finally appears behind the corner, riding on the back of an actual car, just in time to begin their journey. Redcap just makes sure one last time that he has the key to the cabin that they'll be sleeping in, one that apparently belongs to his uncle. Losing that would mean the end of this vacation. Well, they arrive, put on their skis, and then it's quite the trek into the hills before they finally can reach the cabin. Mirek is worried that they won't be able to do so before dark, but fortunately they just make it. But a rather unpleasant finding awaits them there in the form of the lock being broken, the door being open, and footprints in the snow all around the cabin. Speedy, being the paragon of courage he is, starts railing someone to actually enter the cabin because he is definitely not going to do it himself. So Mirek enters, no one is there, but even being the nephew of the owner, Redcap is unable to figure out if anything is missing. So they just settle down and they need to quickly gather some firewood, otherwise the night would be really bad. Oh, the good old times with no electricity, needing fuel to stay warm when the fireplace is going strong and the night is completely upon them. They decide to redo their badges of courage. Mirek is going to tell everyone a horror story, and then it's a trip to the forest and back by themselves just to test their bravery once more. And this is where I'm going to stop for today. I'm going to continue next time writing stories and then more stories of the Rapideros.